Anyone else find this kind of non-stop math boring as hell? The bass is not meant for the sorts of things he's trying to do here. Proof more notes doesn't make you better. My fellow bassists, welcome back. Pretty much since music began, there have been people who pushed the limits of speed and technical ability. Back in the early 18th century, you had Bach improvising fugues with multiple lines happening at the same time. In the early 19th century, you had Paganini demolishing the violin, and then by the mid-20th century, you had insane jazz virtuosos like Coltrane and Charlie Parker. And that brings us to today, where I'd say playing fast and technical is just as popular as it's always been. Some people love the thrill of watching someone push the limits of their instrument, and the rise of social media seems to have only increased the popularity of solo virtuosos. But with this increased popularity, I've also noticed some heated debate about whether playing fast actually sounds good, or whether it's all just kind of self-gratifying, unmusical, egotistic nonsense. I have some thoughts on this that actually might surprise you, so today we're going to watch a few viral videos of bassists and guitarists and see if we can settle this debate once and for all. Alright, there's a comment here that says, anyone else find this kind of non-stop math boring as hell? Okay, so first of all, music is a very subjective thing, and if you don't like Tim's style of playing, that's completely fine. I just don't think that this song is in any way non-stop math. What this comment is basically saying is that Tim only plays like this in order to make himself feel really good about being able to play fast and technical. I see the same type of comment on so many different videos of fast players, no matter what instrument it is. I know quite a lot of musicians who I would consider to be virtuosos, and they're mostly all very humble and down-to-earth people. Most of them have a deep love and passion for music because that's the only way that you can dedicate 10 or 20 years or more of your life to reach such a high level of playing. Without that genuine love for music, you'd burn out really quickly, and I think that most advanced instrumentalists like Tim, who actually become successful and well known, use all of that skill and combine it with a lot of musicality to create music that actually connects with people on an emotional level. Of course, there are some videos where there's a musician who's only playing really fast and just doing it to impress people with their speed. In those videos, there's usually just playing as many notes as they possibly can with basically no structure or phrasing or rests or really any other elements of music other than just playing as fast as possible. I don't think that describes playing God, since it's a well thought out composition with themes that are repeated and varied and cool chord progressions and a nice hook at the end. I understand that polyphia might not be to everyone's taste, and that's completely fine. I just think that this mass comment is really overused. I mean no disrespect, but just play a guitar. The bass is not meant for the sorts of things that he's trying to do here. It would sound 100 times better on the appropriate instrument for the composition. This might be the most common negative comment that bass players get on videos where they're trying to play fast. I get a few of these myself, although overall I think I have an extremely nice and supportive comment section, so thank you. I actually saw a couple of replies to this comment that I think sum up my thoughts pretty perfectly. If we had always stuck to the right way, there wouldn't have been any innovation in anything ever. This is an amazing response. In order for music to progress, we have to be pushing the boundaries. For example, if Les Paul had never tried out overdubbing, then modern music production as we know it today wouldn't exist. If Victor Wooten hadn't perfected his double thumb technique, then slap bass wouldn't be nearly as exciting and versatile as it is today because of how many basses he inspired with that technique. Music is an art, and the rules are constantly being pushed and broken, which is what makes it exciting. If you think back to a lot of the all-time greats like Jimi Hendrix and Jaco Pastorius and Cliff Burton, they were all breaking rules at the time, even if now they sound a bit more conventional. It would not sound as incredible on any other instrument. He uses percussive elements throughout this song that only really work on bass, plus the double thumbing on guitar doesn't give the same effect. This is another great observation. In general, I find that rhythmic and percussive sounds work really well on bass, and that's one reason why slap bass is so popular. Victor does some incredibly powerful strumming and double thumbing on this song that just wouldn't sound quite as effective on an electric guitar. He really needs those thick bass strings to get all of the power necessary for those percussive sounds. Of course, every instrument has its limitations and not everything sounds good. For example, you can't play a long sustained note on a bass as well as, say, a violin or saxophone, because once you pluck the string on a bass, the note just immediately starts decaying. So any songs with slow and sustained melodies probably won't sound as good on bass unless you get really creative. But I think Victor's solo, The Lesson, works perfectly on bass. Proof more notes doesn't make you better. Out of all the comments that we've read today, this is probably the one that I agree with the most. More notes doesn't actually make you better. I don't think this song in particular is proof of that. It's got some really nice melodies, really awesome production, and Marcin's unhinged stage presence just fits the song perfectly. But it is true that playing more notes doesn't actually make you better, it just means that you can play faster. So now that we've watched 3 viral videos of some extremely fast and virtuosic players, here's my personal thoughts on all of this. Playing fast can be boring and unmusical if that's all that you do. It can be used to cover up the fact that maybe you only know a couple of pentatonic licks, or you just don't have very much practice with writing or improvising solos. And yes, it can lead to music becoming a bit more of a contest or circus act, rather than something that allows you to connect on an emotional level. But at the end of the day, playing fast is just one tool that you have in your musical toolbox. As a musician, it's always beneficial to have more tools at your disposal so that you can create any mood or emotion that you want at any time. Playing fast is often exciting, dramatic, and sometimes tense, and those are all great emotions to be able to invoke. If you can play really well both fast and slow, you'll be able to create huge contrasts in your music that will make it really engaging. Another great thing about being able to play cleanly at fast tempos is that it forces your technique to become really good, which improves the sound of everything that you play, regardless of whether it's fast or slow. So I guess to summarize, I think that playing fast is a really exciting and dramatic tool to have in the vast toolbox of music. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but I just think it's a great option to have at your disposal. And if you combine it with other musical elements like melody, song structure, and harmony and interesting rhythms, then I think you can create some absolutely amazing moments. If you're interested in learning how to play fast fingerstyle bass, I've just released some new speed exercises on the Basecamp Patreon. These will develop your ability to play fast lines in a variety of styles, and like I said before, they'll also help you play slower lines with more control and confidence. Right now, I'm offering a 7-day free trial of the Gold membership, so if you want to take your playing to the next level with no risk at all, just tap the link below and I'll see you there. Thank you so much for coming here and learning with me. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next lesson.